registered in Krishna district as of today morning, which disease, which village has a maximum registration, which action is needed if surgery is not pre-approved in 44 hours. This is because of they have insurance scheme which they have implemented. Moving from there, they are trying to do the analysis of claims which are actually coming in. Are there frauds which are happening? So in the first 6 months of implementations, they have been able to identify close to around 6 cases of fraud. It's very minimal as of now, but what we see is these trends are going to continue. So the ability to adopt or identify these frauds is going to be very important. What they have done is, it was a simplistic business rule which they implemented. So they have certain diseases which cannot be treated by certain hospitals. And what they saw when the hospitals were filing in their claims, because these were cashless claims, and when they were filing in their claims for reimbursements, they actually showed that certain hospitals were regularly claiming for a certain disease or surgeries which were being performed for certain disease which they were not eligible to perform. And they identified this and they immediately cut off that particular hospital chain from the list of approved hospitals. From here on, they're going to move into trying to predict the level of optimum infrastructure which is required to ensure that they are able to service the needs of the state of Andhra. We move next to taxation, one of the key areas of adoption of analytics across the globe. We have almost close to 185 installations across the globe in the area of taxation. What exactly happens? What's the concern in taxation? The concerns are related to no filing, zero filing, and non-payment. 3 large concerns, and the fourth one is claiming VAT when it's actually you're not eligible for claiming the VAT, which is in form of circular trading. So we have implemented this as a pilot program for 2 states in this country, where we've, in the pilot itself, managed to identify frauds to the tune of 625 crores in one state alone. So one simplistic rule which one of the pilots followed, there was this vendor which was filing claims, which was filing their tax returns, ice cream vendor. It was filing their tax returns, and what we analyze is there was a trend of decreasing tax returns per this particular individual tin. And then we identified, we tried to correlate it between the business, which the returns which he was filing, and the consumption of electricity. So there is a lot of data which is coming into this particular database. We have data from Reliance in this particular case, and also from the tax authority. We try to correlate the turnover with the consumption of electricity. Ice cream vendor, if is consuming more power, which means he's doing more business. And we saw a cross correlation. He was consuming more power, but filing returns which were far less. Very simple rule, identify that person, went after that, and they identified that this person was concealing a lot much more than what he was actually filing returns for. And similarly, we have implemented for circular trading, which is very simple when I describe it, but when you try to identify that fraud, it's not so simple. It's A selling to B, B selling to C, C selling to D, and D again selling to A. And each of these people claiming more VAT when actually there is no sale happened. So identifying this chain is very important, and that's what analytics does in form of taxation analytics process. Smart grid, I'll just give you some statistics of how as a country we are in terms of state-wise sector energy consumption, and then city-wise consumption and generation. So if you look at it, there are certain states and certain cities which are surplus, and some of them which are actually deficit. Why is this happening? One is obviously the demand side. There's a huge demand. Urbanization is causing a lot much more need for power. At the same time, on the supply side, there's a huge problem of generation. And if you analyze, we've not added more than, if I'm not mistaken, 4,000 megawatts of power in the last 2 to 3 years. And that's primarily because there's been some slowdown in terms of importing capital equipment required for creating these power plants. But the other fact which we analyzed, and this was done actually by ICICI Bank as a research, is that a simple 10% improvement in availability and reliability of existing power generation outfits can help us generate close to 12,000 megawatts of power. Simple 10% availability more. And what this means is ensuring that the power plants are up and running and they're able to provide the power. How does analytics contribute? Let me try and explain this to this particular process. On the rightmost side, if you see, is the availability of plants. What analytics can do is actually help you move from preventive maintenance of equipments to predictive maintenance. It can actually predict whether a particular process is going to lead to a failure of an equipment. And because of that failure of that equipment, is there going to be loss of generation of power? So that's the supply side. Now look at the demand side, which is on the left-hand side. If we can predict, and which is what we are doing already in this country, what is the consumption pattern and what is the requirement of energy for the next 1 year, for the next 1 month, for the next 1 day, we can actually try and correlate this to what could be the need for generation and the supply side. And that's where this analytics comes in play, the demand side as well as on the supply side. Public safety, we've been seeing that over the last more than 10 years, we've been targets of terrorist activities. How can analytics help in terms of public safety? It can help in terms of putting in place an information-led policing, intelligence-led investigation, and social network analysis. This is one of the key things which, if implemented well, and this is what we have done globally, can actually help us identify threats, identify possible causes of threats much more in advance. And how does this happen? Each time, any one of us, whether it's a normal individual or a test, goes on the social media, he or she leaves a social footprint. And it's important to analyze this footprint to try and predict whether the behavior is leading to some kind of a threat. So for example, in a chat room, if there is a murmur or a discussion going on about a possible threat, you can see sentiments. When I say sentiments, certain words being used which are going to finally lead to some kind of an action. And the ability to identify that is going to lead investigators or public security officials to a stage where they can predict that there is likelihood of certain act happening and we need to prevent it. In addition to that, CDR analysis, which we are doing in the country as of now, analyzing call data records. Each time we make a call or send an SMS, we leave again some data with the telecom operator. Analyzing this call records, analyzing the data which is available can help lead to identifying threats. So the capabilities which we have is in the area of counterterrorism, creating intelligence hubs, which are fusion centers as they're called in the US, managing serious and organized crime, border management, case management, and early warning. That's something which I explained to you. In India, we have initiated steps. As we know, CCTNS is one such step towards creating a network of police stations which can share information and database. In addition to that, we are on the verge of creating our own fusion center, which is going to help us derive more intelligence out of not just one, but 21 databases where you and me leave some kind of data in a normal day-to-day activity, which could be a credit card transaction, it could be a telephone talk which we are having, or it could be in online transactions which we are undertaking. This leads us to our final slide on what our customers are in this country. And before I conclude, just one thought, whatever business we are in, whether it's in policy making, in administration, I believe whatever we do can be done much better with analytics. Much, much better with analytics. So make use of the data which is available with you and ensure that you're able to derive more and more intelligence out of this. Thank you.